Hello viewers, Super GT here once again with another video in this, the BMW M6 in the GT Endurance Hopper. Really enjoying this car, so I thought I'd give it another go. I think it was worth another video. I was enjoying the Porsche RSR as this guy goes way wide at turn 1. Really enjoyed the Porsche RSR when they added that into the game. Made a couple of videos on that. So I'm really enjoying this car, the BMW M6. The GT Endurance Hopper is one of my favourites. I think this division is one of the most well balanced in the game, so that's the reason I think why I keep coming back to it. Also, the fact that it's endurance racing, or at least over 20 minutes, it gives people a bit of a chance to calm down a bit and get into the race properly, rather than your 2 laps around Maple Valley lasting 3 minutes, which really isn't long enough, I think. But this hopper here, it does bring out some of the best racing in this game that I've had so far. But I mean, actually, looking back on my videos, I think a lot of the very best races I've brought to you on Forza 7 have been in this hopper. So we're running Homestead Miami, the infield section, but also the oval here. So you're going to see that top speed does matter on this kind of circuit. When you've got an oval involved, your speed does matter, especially on circuits like Daytona, Indianapolis, when you do run the oval there. Into the first corner, very fast entry into the kink. This is actually turn 2 here, yeah. And just taking the nice line through there to turn 3. Very slow, quite a twisty section, and you have to be very patient through those corners. It can be very easy to get on the throttle very early and slide out. But we are going to move ahead here to lap number 7. This is where things got a little bit more interesting. Because we can see just behind Kaiser Wolf, so he featured in the previous video at Lime Rock Park, and it's going to happen again here because as we come through the oval, so as I said earlier, top speed does matter here, and you can see that the BMW that I'm driving here doesn't quite have it. Again, stock tune. I ought to really do more research and get myself a better one. I thought I'd at least test myself as I go flying up the inside for a lunge. Not quite going to happen. That's kind of what happens though when you're kind of up against a top driver. He actually just has full awareness of you, and he just didn't turn in completely. He was aware that I was going for the move, didn't quite turn in as much as he would have done, left the space and still got out ahead. So really good driving from Kaiser Wolf to avoid the contact and keep his position. First place, a little wide there, just trying to keep up with him. And I think that Lamborghini is well and truly quicker. The Lamborghini, from what I can tell, is definitely one of the quicker cars in this class. So, going through the final corner, he actually makes a massive mistake going to the pit lane. It is actually quite a tricky one if you're going full speed through that, and I just about missed when I go in a lap later. I spotted my opportunity there because he made that big mistake, so I thought I'd just go in straight away and just try to reclaim the lead as soon as I could. Now this is going to become a problem because you have this guy here and it's not going to turn out very well. This is where the drama begins. It begins on lap number 11 as we've skipped ahead here. So I thought that was it. I thought I've gone past him, but you can just never be too sure what's quite going to happen with the back marker because, well, quite simply just get shunted into the barrier, which probably would have killed me in real life. But thankfully it's just a game. Rejoining. So obviously not going well there, and coming into the first corner, I tried to avoid him, but he was on it. He was on his ramming game, and to push me off once again. So not going good, not going good. The race pretty much been ruined. But a bit later on, a bit more action with Kaiser Wolf and this guy. And Kaiser Wolf's now in the unfortunate position of being about 100 metres ahead of a rammer into a hairpin, which is probably the worst combination you can have. Because that's going in, he kind of just doesn't turn in, tries to bait him in, but he just gets killed, absolutely annihilated. And, well, Kaiser Wolf is dead, RIP. Thankfully, though, he wasn't quite dead enough. So the race kind of resumes here with Kaiser Wolf about 200 feet behind. So 3 laps remaining, or just under 3 laps, we can actually get some proper racing. So we've seen that Kaiser Wolf is probably the quicker driver and in the quicker car. But with time running out, will he be able to get back past and claim this race? Going into the first corner on lap 14, so only 2 laps left to go. Just about managed to defend it this time. Then we do join the middle of this big battle of back markers. Wasn't quite sure what he was doing, he just kind of stopped mid-apex. And then unfortunately, Kaiser Wolf gets claimed once again, and that pretty much ends and decides the race, as I then come through one lap later to quite easily win that race. So shame there that that guy kind of ruined it for us, but he did get kicked and there is a ban request on him, so you probably won't be seeing him for the next 7 days. So we moved to Sebring. This race was really good, and starting in 3rd place we do once again have Kaiser Wolf up the front in the Lamborghini. And Sebring, this is the shorter version. Obviously we do have the 2 very long straights, so I'm expecting a hard race because this car doesn't have the best straight line speed. Into the 2nd corner, a little bit deep, but just about keeping the position here from VRS Full Chat, and just going to try to get on the tail of this Audi. It looks like Kaiser Wolf is making a run for it nice and early. He's just going to pull away and get away from this back. 2nd place might be the best we can hope for today in this one. Onto the back straight, let's test the straight line speed. 2 very long straights here at the Sebring short version. As we come down the back straight then into the final corner, a notoriously difficult corner, very bumpy. I prefer to turn in quite early, look for that curve on the right hand side, or sorry, the barrier, get very close to it, brake down into 2nd gear this time. I think 3rd gear might be better, and accelerating out towards the outside, accelerating as early as possible so that you go out to that wall, obviously without hitting it. Obviously you want to get on the throttle as early as possible, and again it's just a risk versus reward. Get on the throttle early equals more speed, but then you risk going into the wall, so it's just finding that direct balance or delicate balance between the two, and that's something you should kind of be thinking about as you go through these endurance races. You have plenty of time. I mean, there's 18 laps here. You're fine tuning as you go along. Could I take that corner a bit quicker? Could I take a different gear? Should I brake a bit later? Should I brake a bit earlier? You have lots of laps to kind of test your theories, and don't be afraid to change if you think you're doing it wrong. So on the previous lap I said I went down to 2nd gear on the final corner, whereas 3rd might give me more stability. We'll test that perhaps as we come up here into the final corner once again. So there's a couple of lines on the circuit. We look for the 2nd line there and then just turn in on the 3rd one. So we're going to stay in 3rd gear this time, keep very close to the apex. And I think that was actually more stable. In 2nd gear, actually look at this, just about trying to go for that gap. So we talked about that risk versus reward, about not touching that barrier, but the guy ahead just pushed a little bit too much for that reward, and the risk went and bit him in the arse, and it smashed him into that wall, and then I kind of just fell into the trap and couldn't really go anywhere. So this does in turn though make the race a little bit more interesting. We now have a bit of work to do to try to get through back past a couple of people here. So in behind the Nissan, the Super GT car, from what I can tell, not a great car in a straight line. It seems to be that the cars that have high PI, like the Aston Martin and this Super GT car, when they're scaled down towards this Hopper 835 PI, they're not as quick on the straights, nowhere near. Into the 2nd to last corner, and I just see that proximity arrow coming in, and I just had to turn away because there was going to be a crash otherwise. He's lucky that I was aware that he was going for the lunge of the century. And sometimes I do side with Sebastian Vettel when he says that, you know, it's like Daniel Ricciardo just going for lunges on him, and he was just saying that this is stupid because I'm having to turn away, otherwise there's a crash. But anyway, that guy goes into the pits, and now we are on lap number 6, and I've caught up this nice little battle of 4 cars, or make it 5 now that I'm here, I guess. And I look up the inside. This is the line I'd normally take, but obviously not very well this time because I've gone into the side of Full Chat. I'm just going to back off the throttle to make sure that he goes back up into 5th place. So let's try and do this again properly. So a group of a couple of cars here. Good to try to pick your way through. And coming through the first corner. Look for a later apex. I think he's gone a little bit too early. He's going to back off the throttle. He's going to cover the inside and go to the left hand side and the outside. Brake nice and late. The brakes do seem very good in this car. And that is 5th position claimed. And we turn our attentions then to the car up ahead. So another BMW and another version, well, another same car that I'm driving here. So plenty of BMWs, so we've just overtaken one. We've got another one up ahead, and of course I'm driving one. Plenty of tyre smoke up ahead. I think this guy in the Porsche has just made a mistake in 3rd place. 2nd place, not too far ahead, and he may well pull away if we start fighting. So coming down the back straight, you see here that the BMW up ahead is the same car, but it's clearly a different tune, as he's gaining a good 10-20 miles an hour on me into the final corner, going flying in, taking that early apex, and then cutting back here on the bridge. Got to watch out for the bumps through that corner. Just watching for this guy if he hits the wall. Didn't quite hit it, as I'm very wary now of someone hitting that wall, as I've already fallen victim to someone doing that so far in this race. Into the turn 1, just breaking on the end of the wall on the right hand side, being patient on the throttle on the way out. The guy up ahead, not quite as patient. Look up the inside. I'm going to go for a very late move. It wasn't quite the best move, and I thought he was going to come back on there, and he just didn't come back onto the track. So that's why I'm going to go back past him. I would have waited. I kind of did wait a little bit, but he just simply didn't rejoin the circuit. I don't know why he just stayed on the grass. But up into 4th place anyway, and we're looking at the back of the Porsche, making a couple of mistakes I think through this section. Was the Porsche. I did on, I think it was the previous lap or the lap before that. We saw plenty of tyre smoke. But now, on lap number 9, a couple of back markers. So we've seen this plenty of times in the GT Endurance hopper. Back markers are it's a big part of the game in this hopper when the races are going on for 20 minutes. Especially on a shorter configuration circuit like this one, compared to the full Sebring. So this guy, I was going to look for the cutback on him on the exit, and he just took a really shallow line, and I was not prepared for that at all. So I'm going to lose tons of momentum, and Full Chat is going to come back through up into 3rd place, so I'm back down to 4th. So this is quite an interesting proposition as we go into the final corner. The 2 guys on the left hand side, the back markers, brake really early. Full Chat just kind of just slides sideways. Not quite sure how he managed that, but I kind of just wanted to get out of this battle, and so I decided just to bail out, go into the pits. On the exit of the pits, we just come out behind the Porsche once again. So nice little battle going to develop here into turn number 2, breaking on the 200 board. I think that was a little bit too late on that instance though, and through the 2nd apex, just dipping 2 wheels on the grass. I think it's okay. I think just dipping 2 wheels across the grass there is kind of acceptable. 2 wheels off the track, or 2 wheels beyond the white lines, kind of your normal rule. So the 3-way battle here for 4th place has broken out. Let's see how this one develops. The Aston Martin there in 5th place. We've seen the Aston Martin isn't the best car in a straight line, so there's no real point in overtaking him into this section here. I might as well just follow him through and wait till the back straight, which is just coming up here. So here we go. We're going to outdrag the Aston Martin, notoriously slow car in a straight line in this hopper, in this division. There we go. So it's not saying too much that I'm quicker than that car, but we are through into 5th place. Just following the Porsche through. Let's see if we can do battle with the Porsche. So 2 cars, the might of Germany, around the American circuit. So actually take a really nice corner through there, onto the tail, into the slipstream of the Porsche, crossing the line to begin the 12th lap of 18, braking before the end of the barrier, trying to get close to that wall. And then on the exit, I've actually followed him. I kind of accelerated a little bit too early there, just kind of getting distracted by what he was doing. Looking up the inside, the space was there, bit of a cut, but I think I just about kept 2 wheels on the track, and then through there, just about okay, just grazing the grass on the exit. And then we see here, 2nd place, Eric, had a big issue, I think, with this back marker, and he was actually warning me over the chat that there was something fishy going on with this guy who has Nuggets in his name, incidentally. I don't know if that really matters. Salty Nuggets 555. Interesting name. As we're going to come across the line here. So 4 laps remaining, 15, 16, 17 and 18. Into turn 1, we're going to see a proximity area go flying across the right hand side. I think that guy went for a kamikaze lunge. It didn't pay off. He only killed himself in the end. So we've kind of got rid of the big threat of this race. We can forget about him. Luckily, this race isn't going to go the way of the first race in this video. So this is lap number 16. We have only 2 laps remaining once we finish this one. And the Porsche of Eric is right on me now. So I'm going to move to the right hand side to make sure he goes around the outside. I think he's going to get the straight line speed advantage into the final corner. Although I am going to look up the inside. The space just opens up. Back through, going to just park it on the apex, make sure he just can't accelerate. And there we go. We are back up into second place. So, a good overtake by him. I think a good take to get second back. But only 2 laps remaining here to try and hold him off. He seems like he's quicker. And when someone's quicker in a straight line as well, I think that's quite crucial. It's really hard to defend, I think, sometimes. There's pretty much nothing you can do. You can block once, move across to defend the inside, but then you can't move back across the other side and can't keep swerving. And if they have the straight line speed advantage, they can just sail by you. We see that in Formula 1 a lot these days with the DRS pass. Sometimes there's just simply nothing that the person getting overtaken can do. They're just simply open to attack. Into the second to last corner, onto the back straight. We're just going to try to open up that gap. Can we get it open enough so that he can't quite go for the move into the final corner? He's in that slipstream range, well and truly. And he's going to definitely gain. You can see that gain already. Is he going to go for the move? He isn't quite. So into the final corner. Just about live to fight another day through here. Park on the apex once again. He's right on my tail. The pressure is on as we round out the final, or the second to last lap. And now on to the final lap. Can he get past in that Porsche? I'm going to cover the inside. He's just going to get a run on me, but he's on the wrong side. Through the apex, you see the bottom on the bottom of the screen. The nose of his car was popping into the screen to say hi. And this corner just again blocked the inside line. There's no way you can go other than the outside, the long way round. It's never going to happen. Not quite going to go around the outside on a tight corner like that. So only a couple of corners remaining in this race. Can we hold him off to keep second? Kaiser Wolf is going to come across the line now to win the race. A long way ahead. But the battle for second is going to rage on for another 30 seconds or so. Onto the back straight, he's got the cutback done in the Thrustmaster livery Porsche 911 RSR. I'm going to tuck back into the slipstream for any hope, of faint hope of going back up the inside where I did a couple of laps ago. Is it quite going to happen? Not here. No, he's just going to cover me off. It was a good line from him. And he's got good traction on the exit. He's not going to hit the wall like the guy on lap 2. And he's going to come across the line to finish second. I finished third. It was a good race. And to be fair to him, he raced really well there. And he did get wiped out by the back marker. He was about 1,000 feet ahead of me on that lap. I think it was lap 13 or so. So he would have finished second if not for that. But anyway, it was a really good battle. Good to come back through the pack. I suppose there's a silver lining to being involved in an accident on lap 1 is that you can try to fight your way back through. And a lot of the guys in this race were very respectful. So it was a really good race in the end. So I do hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed being part of that one. Do let me know your thoughts as well. If you have a good tune for this car, do let me know because I'm always looking. And do subscribe if you'd like to see more like this. And of course, I hope to see you in the next one. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.